What a rush of fear.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this very special bonus edition of the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast for HN Nightmares HHN at Home. That is a mouthful, of course, and supporting the Trevor Project. If this is your first time listening to our podcast, I am Lee.
And I'm Tracy.
And we are very honoured to be part of this year's event and super excited to talk about our passion, Halloween Horror Nights.
Yes, we are.
This episode will, of course, be in conjunction with our sister podcast, the Rush of Fear Halloween Horror Nights podcast.
Whoop, whoop.
So over the next half hour or so, each of my UUOP and Rush of Fear team will discuss the piece of music that instantly reminds them of Halloween Horror Nights. And why?
Fair enough.
You have no idea at this point, do you?
I'm still mulling it over.
So, of course, it'll be myself and Tracy first off.
Mm-hmm.
And then on their own, there will be our other UUOP co-host, Chris.
Yeah.
You feel like I'm missing someone at the moment because, of course, in the middle of that, straddling both podcasts,
True.
we have your sister wife,
Yes, that would be Michelle.
who is part of UUOP and Rush of Fear, and then her Rush of Fear team of Kenneth and Maddie. We hope you enjoy what's to come, because I'm excited to talk about Halloween Horror Nights music, so let's move on. So, Tracy, at this point, we've only been to Halloween Horror Nights
Not enough.
3 times.
Is that all 3 times? It feels like more.
For how much we love that event, 3 times, it's shocking.
I think it feels like we've been more because we do multiple nights where we go.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done 1, 4, 8 total.
Yeah.
People do that more a year. I know it's still bad, isn't it?
We are slacking.
Yeah, and that's in 17 years. We've only been 3 times in 17 years.
That's disgusting. We need to just resign.
Well, with being in the UK, it's not that easy for us to
it's
get
not.
over, and having
No.
little kids sort of screwed us for about 7 years or so.
Yeah. Now we can dump them, it's fine.
Oh, I can't wait. And because obviously expensive, because of COVID, because we were supposed to be out last year and this year, but we've having to put it off. But anyway, we know from visiting the very first night of Halloween Horror Nights 2004 that we completely fell in love with that event.
Yes. And didn't do it properly.
It was there was nothing like Halloween Horror Nights in the UK.
Oh, no.
Well, there still isn't, to be fair.
No.
So having gone for opening night, like I say, we just completely fell in love with the event. And since that, we've done Horror Nights 25 and 29, so definitely more recently.
Yeah, just a little bit more recently.
Now, just like in the theme parks, music is a huge part of Halloween Horror Nights.
Definitely.
And like we've mentioned on the show many times, it's one of those things that people completely take for granted and won't even necessarily know that music is playing. I think it's more prevalent at Halloween Horror Nights.
But if it wasn't there, they would really notice.
You really would. It would be bizarre.
It's probably, 70-80% of the atmosphere, I would imagine.
Without a doubt.
I think really it's dry ice fog and music.
Yeah.
That's, without that...
And all new scare actors, anybody listening, we know that.
Yeah, I know that. I'm talking about the basics.
But for me, I don't know about for you, Tracy, for me, music didn't become as much a part of the event for me until 2019.
No, and I think part of that is with doing the podcast and getting to delve behind the scenes as well. I think that's given us more of an appreciation because we fully understand what really goes into making an event like this now.
Yeah. I mean, there's tracks that remind me of 25. There's a weird track in the middle of Asylum in Wonderland that I adore. There is another one from 25 that I think you're probably going to mention.
I was.
So I'm not going to mention it here. But 29 was all about the music.
Yeah, it really was.
Before we went, I had a playlist set up. So I had stuff from the Ghostbusters soundtrack, obviously Hellbilly Deluxe, the tethered mix of I've Got 5 on it, I had that. Stranger Things theme, Killer Clowns. It was very music-centric, just going into the event. And then obviously during the event, again, having listened to it, I had a memory to before going, which sounds bizarre. Like, oh, cool, that's from...
Yeah, because you'd already been listening to
it
the
was
soundtrack.
weird. I mean, let's be honest, when have we ever had a Halloween Horror Nights scare zone dedicated to a metal album? Never.
Oh, no, that was awesome.
Oh, it was so cool.
So good.
But then you add in the music for Marathon of Mayhem, which that music, the soundtrack to Marathon of Mayhem was as much a part of that event as the lasers and the fireworks and the water projections, and then also the Academy of Villains soundtrack. Like, I listen to them constantly. You're still thinking, aren't you?
Well, I'll keep settling on something and then you keep throwing other things, because you know, everybody knows my memory's terrible.
I know. You don't obsess over it as much as I do either.
I haven't had time to be fair, I haven't had time to obsess over it this year.
But I've found myself listening to the unofficial soundtrack a ton since we came back. I have it on my phone. It's in constant
rotation.
That's the word I was looking for. And obviously just wanting to come and immerse myself into what was not only the best week of my life, but probably my favourite horror nights we've been to at this point. So when looking at the music for the event and trying to come up with one piece, Kenneth, you guys
called out.
You guys will get what I'm talking about when we get further into this thing. It was tough, I'll be honest. I'm going to go first a little bit. It might jog your memory a bit, right? So
the one I settled on was what immediately sprang to mind.
I know, and I know what that is. I think.
Might not.
But I could have gone down the route of like the tethered mix from Us. Of I've Got 5 on it is my ringtone on my phone now.
That is pretty awesome.
Even though that house was sort of middle of the table, I think, for me as far as my top 10 went. Yeah, I mean, having interviewed Andy Garfield, the composer of that techno section at the end, I nearly chose that specific section. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, it's the bit that's it's like that sort of last 3 minutes of the Marathon of Mayhem soundtrack with the reverse, that whole section. You've got the Swan Lake mix from Dracula, which is awesome.
Yes.
There's even a bit of Killer Clowns in there, a bit of Ghostbusters. It encompasses... it like epitomizes that whole event in one small little 3-minute piece of a track. But yeah, having spoken to him, that's just, I love that show. Was amazing. It was honestly tough for me not to just go, it's the Marathon Mayhem. Yeah, I could choose the whole thing, but I didn't. And so when it came down to it, I'll be honest, you don't actually know what mine is, do you?
No, I haven't got a clue.
I expected Michelle to pick this, to be fair, and she hasn't. And I am quite shocked.
Right.
It's an IP I'm a big fan of.
Okay.
I wasn't particularly looking forward to the house. The house ended up being number 9 on my list for 2019, I think.
That's quite low.
It was very low. We all agreed, other than Michelle, that it was pretty poor. But anyone that knows me knows that emotion plays a huge part in my life, especially when it comes to theme parks. And as I said, it was in a house. It was also part of Marathon of Mayhem. And that was the theme to Stranger Things. And anyone who knows me and knows my experience of Halloween Horror Nights 29 is probably like, really, that's a strange choice for you to pick.
A stranger thing to pick, you might say.
And the reason I've ended up picking it is it was a piece of music that, and I've used the word already, epitomised that event for me. When coming home, I started rewatching Stranger Things again. I was trying to immerse myself back in that event as much as I possibly could, and so I rewatched the 3 seasons of Stranger Things. I was constantly listening to Marathon of Mayhem, and I'll be honest, sat at work listening to the Marathon of Mayhem soundtrack. As soon as that Stranger Things theme came on, I would fill up. How no one noticed, like, what the hell are you crying? I mean, people know I do it all the time now. But it just had such an emotional impact on it, and it's weird because it came out of nowhere. Like, even at the event, it never really struck me. The Ghostbusters section was always my favourite bit of Marathon of Mayhem. But even that section was so emotive. It's like the music sort of ebbed down and it stopped, and then that theme kicked in, and with the lasers in the background, like the projection on San Francisco doing the sort of Stranger Things logo thing was just, it was
a full experience.
Awesome. It was so good. Yeah. And I'm genuinely shocked that that's the piece of music that I've settled on, because it could have been half a dozen. As I say, I'm sure you're going to mention one in a minute. There are many others, So I'm not going to talk about it specifically. Actually, Kenneth mentions one later on, as I'm not going to mention it, it was an honourable mention, but in a house at 25, which could have been, and it wasn't one that was on my radar until he mentioned it, and I was like, yeah, that could have been, because that was a house I adored at Halloween Horror Nights 25.
Okay.
I'll tell you when you finish.
Okay.
But yeah, the Stranger Things theme is the one that I think I will always associate with Halloween Horror Nights now.
Okay, cool.
So, Tracy.
So me.
I'll give you a few hints. I mean, if you look at the unofficial soundtrack for Halloween Horror Nights 29, I think there's about 100 tracks on there. And that's not even including the ones for, like, Vikings Undead that was created for that event.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. Well, last year was a really, really strong year.
It wasn't last year.
Shut up. It feels... don't upset me. Don't want to think about the year that we all lost.
I feel like Thanos snapped his fingers in 2020, didn't exist, and we've all come back a year later.
I'll tell you what, we shouldn't be allowed to age by a year. It shouldn't be allowed. So when we went, that time ago, that was a strong year. There were very, very few misses when it came to the music. I can't think of any, to be fair.
No.
It was very emotive. As I say, we'd already had the kind of soundtrack we've been listening to. And of course you got the memories of the people you're with as well, and that all helps build emotions. But the first track that I did think of actually comes from the year before.
It was 5 years before.
It was 5 years. It was
4 years before. It was 25.
Well, by the year before, I mean
the year we
when
visited,
we went.
Yes, in Halloween Horror Nights 25.
Shush, because the other years don't exist because I wasn't there.
Fair enough.
You know. So from 25 then. And I know you're not going to know what this is. I don't actually remember which house it was coming out of.
I'm not sure where you're going now.
And it wasn't in a house. It was on the walk out. And
maybe you're going down the same direction that I hinted at, but okay, go on.
And
no, it can't be.
It was up near Men in Black, as far as I remember.
Okay, it might be.
Up in that corner. And we danced to that. We didn't give a crap. And
I think I know.
We listened to the hell out of this song when we got home.
I think it was park-wide that year, to be fair. I think it was played a lot everywhere.
Well, we cranked it up every time we played it, and I still, if it comes on my sound, I'm old-fashioned, I use SoundCloud. If it comes onto that playlist, I'm like, yes, and I'm transported straight there. This is the first thing I thought of, and it was Clowns by Kilogram, or Kilogram, however you pronounce that.
Well, I would say Kilogram because we're English, but apparently it's Kilogram.
And it's just...
Oh, it's Clowns. It's the theme for that entire event.
Yeah, and it was just... It was perfection.
It was awesome.
And you came out of a house already buzzing, and you then immersed, because you came out.
You're right, though. That's where I remember hearing it the most.
Yeah, you came out, and we were in the throng, because I think 2 houses actually exited into that area.
It would have been Insidious and The Purge.
It was, and straight across was the bar where we had our drinks and got our flashy cups with Andy. And
that was a completely different year, but okay.
But that's where that was. There or thereabouts. Stop shaking the head.
That was in Kids Zone.
It
was the ones going into Kids Zone where Andy bought us
Well, that must have got a refill over there with Holly. Anyway.
Yes, that was where it was.
There you go. See, I remember things weirdly. But it was alcohol, so I remember it.
But if there wasn't much alcohol in them, to be fair.
There wasn't. So, yeah, we used to come out of there and just... We're already buzzing from the scares. And we come out into this bouncing sound. And it just got under my skin, and that for me has been the ultimate song.
Yeah.
As soon as I hear that, that's where I am. It can be the middle of the day and it's dark, it's foggy, it's that smell, it's the sound of the crowd.
Because it's an awesome track. Like, let's be honest, taking Halloween Horror Nights out of consideration entirely, it is an awesome piece of music.
That's a piece of music I would naturally,
because it's awesome,
be drawn to anyway. So that's.
I thought that's where you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't think what the piece of music is in Asylum in Wonderland.
Oh, that is awesome.
Weird boom, 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 boom.
That house
is awesome.
That house was phenomenal.
But
yeah,
like it's so difficult. Like I say, with Halloween Horror Nights 29, there are so many pieces of music that it could have been that we could have chosen.
As you've already mentioned, Swan Lake. That was
I expected you to pick that actually.
I'd forgotten about it, and then you mentioned it the other day, and I was like, damn it! And I've agonised over it.
Tear You Apart by She Wants Revenge, which was part of the Academy of Villains soundtrack. I got into them because of that piece of music.
That whole set list was strong.
It was amazing. Like, I've listened to that a ton of times as well. Yeah, music is a huge part of it. It's awesome.
Yeah, but also Killer Clowns.
Of course.
It's just...
That whole soundtrack play, it's so...
You're making me choose the favourite of my babies.
I know. Like, look, we grew up with Ghostbusters. They just picked that entire soundtrack.
Oh, I know. But
you're sticking with clowns, are you?
I'm sticking with clowns,
so there we go. We will now pass it on to the next of our team and, of course, get in touch. Let us know what you think. But
whether you agree, disagree, you've got another suggestion?
It's over to Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris from the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast, and I am here today to give my one piece of music that reminds me of Halloween Horror Nights. While that's a pretty difficult task to do because there's so many pieces of music that remind me of Horror Nights, we gotta stick to what we gotta do here, and that's one piece. So the one piece of music that I'm gonna go with is gonna be the theme song from the movies Saw. Yes, those movies that came out in the early 2000s and went on for way too long. Now, I didn't select this piece of music because it was the best house that Horror Nights ever had. In fact, it's probably one of the worst ones they've had. They weren't great, to say the least. No, the reason why I selected them is because I had been going to Horror Nights since 2003. And these movies came out in 2004. And these movies were synonymous with Halloween, and Horror Nights was synonymous with Halloween. And these movies were about getting out of these traps and games and taking you through these puzzles, which is very similar to going through a Horror Nights house, except, you're completely safe, obviously. And then when Halloween Horror Nights finally did their own Saw house, I was like, this is it. I get to just live through this. And we did. It was 2009. We had that house. Again, not that great, but hearing the music, having the jigsaw in there, just kind of being able to live the movies, which is what Universal does best, just really resonated with me. And even though we didn't get another house, till almost 10 years later, every time I heard that Saw theme song, it just would instantly clip in Halloween Horror Nights for me. It would just remind me, it'd get me excited, it'd get me ready to go. So yeah, that's the one piece of music that really gets me thinking right back to Halloween Horror Nights. So that's my song. That's what I'm sticking to. And if I could cheat and give one more song, it would probably be Queen's We Will Rock You. And that's because Bill and Ted was the greatest show they've had there. Yeah, come at me. All right, guys, take care. Bye.
This is Michelle from Mouse Muggle Travel Company, from the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast and from the Rush of Fear podcast. So the song that I think reminds me of HHN the most would be the theme song from American Horror Story, because this was the first time I took my oldest daughter, Audrey, with me to Halloween Horror Nights, and this was the first house we went through together. So it was kind of cool to introduce one of my favorite things to do to my daughter, and we really had a fun time together, and just walking through the lines and getting closer and closer to the entrance of the house. And this song got louder and louder and louder, which was really intimidating to her, so it was kind of funny. And then, of course, we heard it through the whole house as well. So it was just a fun memory. So anytime I hear this song now, when I'm watching the show or hearing a commercial about it, it automatically takes me back to HHN. So I'm sure everybody thought I would say Stranger Things, but no, it's American Horror Story. Bye, guys.
Hey, this is Kenneth from Rush of Fear, and I'm talking about some pieces of music that are very reminiscent, or bring me back to HHN, I guess is the idea, right? I hear these pieces of music and I'm taken right back there. I have three here. I don't know if we were supposed to pick one. I picked three because I couldn't pick just one. And these three, they bring me back to HHN for different reasons. So it's no secret, if you've listened to Rush of Fear, I have been a scare actor in the past. My first year scaring was in 2015, and I was in the Insidious house. So the first piece of music that anytime I hear it, I feel like I'm at home. Like, truly I'm at home. It's a comforting piece of music to me. And that's Tiptoe Through the Tulips by Tiny Tim. I know it's like kind of creepy, and especially if you know it from Insidious, it's like a kind of a terrifying piece of music. But to me, it makes me feel so many happy feelings. I'm just right back with all of the friends that I made there, having so much fun scaring people in a house that people seem to really like that house. So Tiptoe Through the Tulips by Tiny Tim, that song fills me up with warm feelings. And then I think the other two pieces that I have are both from HHN 29. So first, let's go with the Swan Lake theme. The Swan Lake theme, which is used multiple times in different ways in the Halloween Marathon of Mayhem Lagoon show, which is my favorite thing I've ever seen or experienced in a theme park, and easily the best audio visual presentation I've ever seen, even maybe better than some concerts. I saw Avenged Sevenfold and in a huge arena with pyrotechnics and lights and stuff, and I Marathon of Mayhem was better than that. And the Swan Lake remix, that electronic remix that they did for the final montage section, that every time I hear that music now, I'm just man, what a good show that was. It's so good. I'll never get over how good that show was. I'll never get over the fact that I'm never going to see it live again. I watch the YouTube video all the time. It's so good. But all of the music in that is from other stuff, so it doesn't necessarily, those songs from the all different IPs don't necessarily take me back to HHN. The Ghostbusters theme doesn't take me back there. The Killer Clowns theme doesn't take me back there, because I've known and loved those songs for years before they were ever at HHN. But the Swan Lake theme, I didn't ever just put it on to listen to it just for nice enjoyment, but now that they put it in that show, it's wow, that music is just tied to that show and those amazing memories of getting to see that so many times throughout the course of the event. And then the other song, also from 29, and this is just from all over the park loop, and that's Viper Force by Street Cleaner. And that was just one of those synthwave songs that was playing on the park-wide music loop. That's the one that anytime I heard it, I was jamming an air guitar solo wherever I was. And when I feel that song just captured the vibe of HHN for that year to me better than anything. It's so fun and energetic and somewhat sinister, and I just loved the whole synthwave vibe that they gave the whole event that year. And that song in particular was the standout track that when I hear that song, I'm at HHN. So I know there are lots of songs, there are lots of pieces of music that have been used at the event that are associated with the event, but those to me are the ones that are most uniquely and specifically associated with the event that I had never really heard or cared about outside of HHN. And then once I heard them there, that's it. The link is strong, the link is there, it's permanent, and those are my HHN songs.
Hi guys, it's Maddie from the Rush of Fear podcast, and I was given the task of finding a singular song that reminds me the most of Halloween Horror Nights. Now, I'm gonna tell you, Lee, I'm a little mad at you for giving me this assignment because it was so difficult. I ended up just making my own playlist. If you guys want to find it, I'll share it on the Rush of Fear Instagram. It's called HHN at Home, Maddie's playlist. But it had me going through, so I've only been going to Halloween Horror Nights since 27. But it really made me think about how much music plays into our experience at Halloween Horror Nights, especially for us who go all the time. You walk into a certain scare zone and there's those same songs playing every single night, and then after Horror Nights is over, you hear them on the radio or at work or in a store, and you are instantly brought back to that scare zone or that house or that show. And it really goes to show how important music is at this event. Like, you don't really think about it when you're there. You're just there to like enjoy the event, get scared, you know. For some of us, like, look at the props and scenery and scare actors and stuff. But like, music is a huge part of it, just like it is for the theme park experience, you know, like during the day. So once again, going back to how difficult this was, I did make a playlist. It is 2 hours and 23 minutes long, and it has about 35 songs on it from my 3 years of Halloween Horror Nights. I can't even imagine, you know, someone who's been going for longer. But man, this is so difficult because like there were so many amazing songs and scare zones. Okay, if I'm gonna pick just one, we're gonna go back to Halloween Horror Nights 28. It was a scare zone that not a lot of people liked just because they thought the first iteration of it was better, but HHN 28 was really my first real experience with Halloween Horror Nights. I only went for one night in 27, so it's not something that I remember very well. So HHN 28 was that year for me. It was the year where I literally was there almost every single night of the event, which my bank account still has not forgiven me for that, but it's fine. And when this song comes on wherever I am, I instantly am just brought back to the memory of Vamp 85. But it's Somebody Watching Me by Rockwell. Y'all can't see me, but I am jamming out. Whenever I walked into Vamp 85, that song was always playing. It was either that or Come Feel the Noise by Quiet Riot. And it really brings me back. But if we're gonna do a runner-up, I will say it was not my favorite scare zone going into HHN 29, but after working it for one night and really like getting a feel for it, I came to love it. This is Vanity Ball. Once again, you can't see me jamming, but I am. Yeah, so I think that's about it. This is now way too long. I do apologize. But for me, music is such a big part of my experience at theme parks. And it's something that I really enjoy. So I made this a little bit longer. Apologies for that. But yeah, once again, if you guys want this playlist, I can share it on the Rush of Fear podcast Instagram. And yeah, thank you so much for this assignment though, Lee. Even though it brought me a lot of struggles, it was super, super fun. And I did really enjoy looking back at the past years that I've been and going through that music and just like really getting back into the vibe of Halloween Horror Nights. And yeah, all right. Thanks so much, guys. Talk to you soon. Stay tuned for episode, I don't even know what it is, 4 or 5 of the Rush of Fear podcast. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Well, that is going to do it for our HHN at Home podcast. We hope you enjoyed it and got you thinking about your favourite piece of music from Halloween Horror Nights, because as I said, music is a huge part of the event. It allows you to relive some of your favourite memories, hearing those signature tracks again at home, and it just triggers so much emotion and memories and just smiles. If it brings you to tears or it makes you smile, then you know it's done its job. So I want to thank again HN Nightmares for inviting us to be part of this. It's been awesome, and for everything they do for the Trevor Project. As I said at the beginning, if this is the first time you've listened to us, we'd love to have you on board moving forward. We have been covering the Universal Orlando Resort now for over 10 years, and we have a lot more planned in the future. You can find the UUOP wherever you find podcasts. The main ones, of course, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and of course over at our website, uuopodcast.com. And if you're interested in hearing more from our Rush of Fear team, then all you've got to do is subscribe to the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast, because those Rush of Fear episodes can be found in our feed. So it is a one-stop shop for all your HHN and Universal Orlando needs. So enjoy the rest of what today's HHN at Home brings, guys, and hopefully we will see you soon. And to quote Universal themselves, see you in the fog.